So in this video we will continue with the topic of stock valuation, and the key points that will be covered in today's lecture are to understand the different stock valuation models to estimate the stock price. Number 2, to be able to explain how one would find the value of stock with constant dividend growth. To be able to explain how one would find the value of a stock with zero growth, and to be able to explain how one would find the value of a supernormal growth stock. The dividend discount model. So you have already studied this in the previous lecture. This is basically the model that says that the value of a stock is the present value of the future dividends expected to be generated by a stock. So if you are a shareholder of a company, because you are a shareholder, you have a share in the dividend as well. Dividend is simply profit distribution by the company. And if you own a stock, now stocks do not have a maturity time period like bonds do. जिस तरीके से आप बॉन्ड वैल्यूएशन में पढ़ चुके हो कि एन आपको गिवन होता था, बॉन्ड एग्जैक्टली कब ख़त्म होगा आपको पता होता था. स्टॉक्स में आपके पास कोई मेच्योरिटी टाइम पीरियड नहीं होता. As long as the company exists, it is considered that the stock will also exist with it. Now if you're going to hold the stock forever, you're not going to sell it off in the middle, then if you imagine yourself as a person who has a share, the only cash flow that you will get is the dividend, right? And the dividend can go till infinity. You do not know when the dividend is going to end. आपको नहीं पता वो dividend की जो cash flow stream है वो कब ख़त्म होगी. And even if you sell your share to somebody else, let's say 5th year पे आके आपने अपना स्टॉक किसी और को सेल कर दिया फॉर द सेलिंग प्राइस दैट इज़ अवेलेबल एट द 5th ईयर. सो ये जो 5th ईयर की सेलिंग प्राइस है, टेक्निकली दिस विल ऑल्सो बी द प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ऑफ ऑल फ्यूचर डिविडेंड्स. ये प्राइस कैसे एस्टिमेट हुई है, ये भी इसी तरीके से एस्टिमेट हुई है. सो दिस विल बी D6 प्लस D7 प्लस D infinity 1 plus R 1 plus R 1 प्लस आर. सो जो 5th ईयर जिस पे आप अपना स्टॉक सेल कर रहे हो, वो जो सेलिंग प्राइस है वो भी तो ऐसे ही डिटरमाइन है. इट इज़ ऑल्सो द प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ऑफ ऑल फ्यूचर डिविडेंड्स. सो बेसिकली दिस इज अ जनरल फार्मूला दैट कैन बी यूज्ड इन एवरी सिचुएशन. वी विल कम ऑन टू दिस प्राइस पॉइंट लेटर ऑन जब हम लोग सुपर नॉर्मल ग्रोथ वाला मॉडल पढ़ेंगे. राइट नाउ this model should make sense to you that if you are a shareholder, so what will be your cash inflow? It will be the dividends that stock will generate, and the present value of those dividends will give you the intrinsic value of the stock. अब dividends जितने ज़्यादा होंगे, intrinsic value उतनी ज़्यादा होगी. Now this is a general formula that can actually be used in every situation. So even if the stock price is increasing, so let's say किसी कंपनी ने 1 साल स्टॉक दिया, डिविडेंड दिया स्टॉक पे 2, then next year it gave 5, and then in another year it gave again 1. So these are dividends. First year के end में 5, second year के end में 1. So the dividend stream has no pattern over here. कभी ज़्यादा डिविडेंड दे रहे हैं, कभी कम डिविडेंड दे रहे हैं. You can use this formula to find the intrinsic value of the stock. Even if your cash flow is giving equal dividends, even if your stocks are giving equal dividend, let's say 5 का dividend मिल रहा है आपको हर साल, even in that case you can still use this formula. This is a general formula that can cater to each type of cash flow, but you can use this formula to derive formulas that are simpler to use, but that can only cater to a specific type of cash flow. One such formula is the constant growth stock formula, and for many companies it is reasonable to predict that dividends will grow at a constant rate. So usually when a company becomes mature, जब उसकी earnings stable हो जाती हैं, वो well established हो जाती है, उसके बाद you can assume that they will increase the dividend each year at a constant rate. And if that is the case, you can actually use this formula to find out the intrinsic value of the stock. D naught represents the last year dividend, or the dividend already paid, and D1 represents the dividend at the end of first year. RS is the required rate of return, and G is the growth rate. Basically, you can calculate D1 using this formula. It is the same formula. This is just telling you how can you calculate D1. So if you use this formula, you will get D1. I'm going to give you an example of what kind of cash flow stream are we talking about over here. Basically, you're talking about a cash flow stream. So this is your timeline that has a constant growth. So let's say the growth rate is 10%. If the dividend right now is 5, it will every year increase at a 10% rate. Just ignore this over here. Okay, I can just erase it. So you have D naught, which is 5. Okay, this is very thick. Wait. Okay, so now I have the correct pen. So you need D1. Now how to calculate D1 when you know that this is going to grow at a 10%? Simply you need to increase the percentage. Use the percentage increase formula. So D1 is equals to D naught 1 plus G. D naught is 5 and it is going to increase at the 10% growth rate. So 0.1. This is the dividend at the end of the first year. Now this dividend will again increase at the 10% rate, and this will keep on going. So if you want to calculate the dividend of the next year, D2, D1 was 5.5, 1 plus 0.1. 6.05 is the dividend at the end of the second year. Now you could have used this formula, or you could have done was you want to calculate D2. Sorry about this again. One plus G. You could have done it this way as well. Both of them will give you the same answer. So the D naught was 5 and power 2. This will also give you the सेम आंसर. इस चीज़ का पर ख्याल रखना कि अगर आप पावर सिर्फ चेंज करने वाले हो, यहाँ पे हमेशा डी नॉट रहेगा. वेरस अगर आप हर बार उससे पिछले वाला डिविडेंड यहाँ पे रखना चाहते हो, तो यहाँ पे n कुछ भी नहीं आएगा. द n ओवर हेयर विल रिमेन 1 बिकॉज आप हमेशा हर साल की कंपाउंडिंग कर रहे हो. बेसिकली व्हाट यू आर डूइंग इज व्हेन यू आर यूजिंग दिस फार्मूला, इसमें डी नॉट यूज़ हो रहा है, तो डी नॉट को आप 2 साल आगे लेकर आ रहे हो. सो पावर 2. बट इफ़ यू आर यूजिंग दिस फार्मूला, तो ये 5.5 को आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ 1 साल आगे लेकर आ रहे हो. दैट्स वाई पावर 1. So the dividend over here will be 6.05. There are multiple ways that you can actually solve this. Okay, so in the same way, this dividend will again increase next year at the 10% rate once again, and so on. So it will continue to grow like this till infinity. इसी तरीके से ये 10% पे ही हमेशा grow होती रहेगी. So this is a constant growth stock. Over here the dividend is not constant. ठीक है, अक्सर स्टूडेंट्स जो कंफ्यूजन करते हैं वो समझते हैं डिविडेंड यहाँ कांस्टेंट है. डिविडेंड कांस्टेंट नहीं है. डिविडेंड हर साल एक ही कांस्टेंट रेट से इंक्रीज होता रहेगा टिल इन्फिनिटी. Okay, so this is your constant growth model. I hope this is clear. So I'm going to discard this. So going back to the formula. So if a question or a cash flow has this pattern, you can simply use this formula to find the intrinsic value of that stock.